It began when an unknown man from Denmark approached me with a proposition. This is him in his tiny apartment in the outskirts of Copenhagen. If this was a piece of fiction, no one would believe that he would be meeting with North Korean arms dealers in Africa.
You can walk in here, no problem.
Or going to the North Korean embassy in Sweden to pick up secret documents.
If something happened, our embassy does know nothing about it.
Exactly.
But this is no fiction. Everything you are about to see is real and has been going on for more than 10 years. This is him, age 14, somewhere in Denmark. He is celebrating his birthday. Among the guests are children who grew up in the communist dictatorship East Germany. Many years later, as a grown man, he will claim that befriending these kids and learning about the horrors of a totalitarian regime made him decide to infiltrate and expose the most brutal dictatorship of all. North Korea. It's a nice explanation, but exactly why he chose to place himself in mortal danger is also besides the point. What only matters here is that he is a mole. In the end, I had to hire an expert to help me sort it out. Annie Machon is a contentious figure in the intelligence world, but this does not concern me. I am only interested in her skills in debriefing agents. So, Annie, the mole arrived last night, and soon he is ready for you?
Do you have concerns?
Maybe we should discuss that after you have met the mole.
Hello, Rick. I'm Annie.
Hi, Annie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
I used to work for the British Security Service, otherwise known as MI5, and part of my job as an intelligence officer was to debrief agents. So the film team has asked me in to debrief you about your life over the last 10 years.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about him, his background?
You know, if he would rob a bank, you would not be able to describe him.
He blends in.
He blends in.
Perfect. So, how did you get interested in North Korea?
Oh, it's a long story.
It is a long story, so I will speed it up. Back in 2006, as a journalist from Denmark, I went to North Korea and shot a documentary called The Red Chapel. The regime in Pyongyang really hates my film, and because of that, I can never travel back to North Korea. Seen from a Western point of view, the film has its moments, but it does not offer up the smoking gun, the irrefutable proof that North Korea is an evil and criminal enterprise. Ever since, I have been on a quest to prove these points, yet being forever banned from the Chamber of Secrets. But back in Denmark, the man who I prefer to call the Mole saw my film, and somehow it gave him the idea that he could travel to North Korea in my place.
Why not? Let go, and then wrote an email to Mads.
Approximately 10 years ago, out of nowhere, he wrote and asked if I would be interested in doing a film about him infiltrating the Danish-North Korean Friendship Association.
So what happened? Can you talk me through exactly the first steps you took in this and the sort of thought process you were going through?
You mean with the Korean Friendship?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I found the Danish Friendship Association, and the chairman, Anders Christensen, he invited me to their first public meeting 3 weeks later. And he was the only person in the room when I came up, trying to put up a North Korean flag. And I went like I normally do, go say hello and want to shake hands. And I have such a, very, it was not even a handshake. It was very like, the hand slipped away. It was like, I think, okay, is he a man or is he, I don't know.
Jellyfish?
Yeah, he was quite fast to tell people that this is a new member.
Den demokratiske folkerepublik foretog I går kl. 11.57 lokal tid sin tredje atomprøvesprængning. Sprængkraften var betydeligt kraftigere end de foregående prøvesprængninger i 2006 og 2009.
I told him it could be of interest if it would evolve to something of international importance, because the Danish-North Korean Friendship Association in itself is a fairly depressing group of people.
He said, please keep me posted if it's interesting. And I was like, okay.
I also told him I will never be able to pay you any money. So that is not of importance for him. And then he just kept on going. The mole went down the rabbit hole and discovered a bizarre world of Danish senior citizens who are true fans of North Korea. Slowly but surely, the mole advanced in the hierarchy and became a member of the board, working under chairman Anders Christensen, a die-hard communist. Here you have him back in his heyday, meeting with the founder of North Korea, eternal President Kim Il-sung, grandfather of the current ruler, Kim Jong-un.
Du kan bare hænge op, når du...
All the time, the mole was filming. The excuse being that he was making movies for YouTube about his work as a board member.
I'm a proud member of the board, and from here I have been fighting to defend the fantastic country of North Korea. But we need to be aware that people that today is our friend or comrades could be our biggest enemies tomorrow. There will be a fifth column of moles. We really need to be aware of that.
So, how did things progress for you once you were a member and on the board?
Well, my biggest wish was to visit North Korea, of course. And to come there, you need to be a part of an association.
Jeg vil lige sige, Ulrik, der filmer der, det er en af medlemmerne af bestyrelsen, og han er ved at lave en film om foreningens arbejde, og han skal også med til Korea, og de rejser ud om en uge.
The mole went to North Korea, and the North Koreans took a liking to him. His main contact person in North Korea was a man named Kang, who works for the Ministry of Cultural Affairs.
Everything under control? Yeah.
Always in Korea. Everything is in control.
Kang is a key person in this tale of deceit and intrigue.
We trust you and we really treat you as friends, good friends.
Yes.
But you have to understand that the place is a bit sensitive, and maybe the spies are interested in this kind of places and military places. So All the Korean people, they are very alert.
Hello. 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 Hi. Hi. Nice meeting you. Hello.
Everywhere he went in North Korea, the mole was filming. Of course, he also brought his camera when he was awarded a medal, recognizing his work for the regime.
Okay, congratulations.
So when did things really start to move?
When I was in North Korea in 2012, I met a Spanish person named Alejandro Caldebenas.
Could you confirm that this is a photograph of him?
Well, that's him.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's the president of the Korean Friendship Association, KFA. And according to himself, there are hundreds of thousands of members around the world.
Amongst the friends of the regime in Pyongyang, Alejandro Caldebenas is the biggest friend. Compared to a small group such as the Danish North Korean Friendship Association, the Korean Friendship Association is the international lodge for people who consider North Korea to be heaven on earth. Alejandro Caldebenas is the founder of the Korean Friendship Association and is known around the world as the gatekeeper of North Korea. As such, Alejandro Caldebenas was my tour guide and access ticket when I traveled to North Korea back in 2006. Here, we are posing for a North Korean newspaper. Spending time with him, I found it hard to understand why Alejandro, who was born in Spain and lives in Spain, has chosen a life as a cheerleader for North Korea. According to the UN, North Korea starves, abuses and kills its own citizens on a daily basis, but Alejandro Caldebenas considers all that to be fake news.
Sabe que hay informes de Naciones Unidas, de Amnistía Internacional, que son muy duros.
Sí, porque se utilizan como medios
el régimen político de Corea del Norte.
Son medios de propaganda.
I also discovered that his preferred foods are French pastry and candies, which is, I guess, the perfect diet for a supervillain.
Do you think Alejandro is dangerous?
Yes, I do, especially when he's in North Korea, because he had the power to react to things he don't like. He's a small dictator in his own universe.
Alejandro Caldebenas, ¿podríamos decir que es usted el único occidental que entra y sale de Corea del Norte con facilidad y que representa a Corea del Norte, el único occidental del mundo?
Sí, así es. Primer y único occidental.
You're a Spanish aristocrat representing the North Korean regime. What's in it for you?
Well, it's a long story of 30 years, but although I come from an aristocratic family, I'm just a son of workers. So I wanted to contribute for the construction of a socialist country.
I created the Korean Friendship Association so I could facilitate the meeting and the bridge between DPRK and the rest of the countries in the world.
Alejandro Caldebenas, señor Caldebenas, buenas noches.
Lo que pretende Corea del Norte es simplemente asegurar su supervivencia y su futuro. No acaso es la única forma de hacerlo, es desarrollando una disuasión nuclear.
There will be no world without Korea. If North Korea is attacked nuclearly by the United States, the world will end as we know it.
So you meet him in Pyongyang, and then you go back to Europe, and then your second meeting is when you go to Spain.
Yeah.
Hello, we are here in Barcelona in front of Hotel Astoria, and we just have a wonderful meeting with our colleague Ulrich discussing matters of interest.
Can you tell me a little bit about that meeting?
I was in a small hotel in the outskirts of Barcelona, and we talked like 2 or 3 hours. Of course, a lot about North Korea. And så er der overstået et herligt møde med den gode spanske kammerat Alejandro Carl de Benos. And then he started telling me about Anders. Så man må sige, at han er rimelig godt inde i, hvad Anders han har foretaget sig gennem årene, og kan se, at Anders han ikke udvikler sig, eller kommer med nye tiltag. Og det må jeg også give ham ret i.
So what did Alejandro want from you?
He didn't want me to be the official delegate, as they pronounce it in KFA, in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
Og derfor så startede jeg stille og roligt op på min egen KFA, Danmark. Hvor jeg selvfølgelig bliver udnævnt af Alejandro, og jeg vil blive en af hans nærmeste, og også internationalt vil han gerne have mig til at stå for mere og skabe nogle kontakter.
And so the mole began tunneling his way through the Korean Friendship Association, hoping to find the secrets of this global club for friends of Pyongyang.
Long live our Supreme Commander, Kim Jong-un. Then last speech, Ulrik Larsen. Ulrik, do you think you had a speech on behalf of KFA Denmark?
Yeah. My name is Ulrik Larsen, and I'm a new branch of KFA in Denmark. And I'm really happy to be here and could speak at this annual meeting.
Jonas, hvis vi filmer her, vil vi bare lige sige hej? Ja, det vil være fedt.
Just don't cover, it should be full portrait.
Du må ikke dække portrætterne. Okay. Alejandro, good to see you again. I'm very pleased to be here. Always, you know. Thank you.
Advised by me, the mole had a professional cameraman enrolled in KFA Denmark as his personal assistant.
Is Alejandro aware of the personal aspects of your life?
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons he wants me to, because he thinks I have a lot of time to be the North Korean man in Scandinavia.
A lot of time because in his real life, the mole is a retired chef who lives on welfare subsidies from the government because of some sort of chronic disease which prevents him from working. He is married with children and resides in the suburbs of Copenhagen, living a seemingly normal life. As such, he is the best mole you could ever want.
It's a long fight against the Danish media. Whenever they have the chance to print imperialistic propaganda. Actually, many of the persons in the KFA are unemployed.
Their leader Kim Jong-il always fought the best among the
eternal president Kim Il-sung.
General Kim Jong-il as the supreme commander of the Korean People's Army.
Leader Kim Il-sung had to get outside of Korea for this hub.
I think they find something unique with him because they feel themselves welcome.
Everyone loves a cause.
Exactly.
Let us become more proud and go more strong, until we achieve the final victory. Thank you.
Thank you. I participated in annual meetings in the KFA around Europe.
I'm calling Ulrik Larsen, our official delegate in Denmark, nuestro delegado oficial en Dinamarca. Esta medalla, Ulrik, please show your medal.
Then 2 years after, I went the KFA delegate of Scandinavia. So he gave me 4 countries.
That's quite a quick leap up, isn't it?
It went quite fast, yeah.
So what were your responsibilities in that?
He wants me, of course, to react to the media. If they, all the lies seen with the North Korean eyes.
This is Ulrich out of Copenhagen. Here's what he had to say.
In North Korea, you have many good things that you've never seen. I just came back here from a month ago, and I was surprised to see how bright the future looks for the North Korea.
So, Andre, he's really picking up on that theme that Dermot had about a smear against North Korea.
Well, Jonas is making small video clips. So I know we will make one, so we will put out on the Facebook so you can all share for today.
Do you happen to know if he's told his wife what he was doing?
I don't think so.
Når man er i Nordkorea, så går folk og lugter grimt. Ikke grimt på den måde, men deres parfumer, de er sådan lidt... der er sådan meget sprittet lugt. Og så var jeg så heldig at få sådan en af min far. Så jeg har gjort det lidt til en tradition, at når jeg er ude med i det her regi, så får den lige et par sprøjt, inden jeg går ned til mødet, så giver lugten mig en eller anden idé om, at nu er jeg i Nordkorea, eller under den nordkoreanske fane.
What did your wife say when you went home smelling of that strange scent?
She's told another story.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell her the truth, because then she wouldn't let me go. Hej.
Hej.
Hej. Nå, jamen vi er færdige for i dag, og vi er godt udkørt. Det har været en lang mødedag med en masse sjove informationer.
Ja, okay.
Hej. Og børnene er glade?
Okay. Ja, vi har lige været i Tivoli.
Ja, det er godt.
Så
Ja.
det var super sjovt.
Ja, det var godt. Yes.
Jeg ringer.
Ja, men vi snakkes ved i morgen, ikke? Eller senere.
Ja, okay.
Ja, det er godt.
Ja.
Hej.
Hej.
Why does Alejandro like them all? What does he see in them all?
He wanted me to find people that like to invest money in North Korea.
Alejandro Cardenas begins putting pressure on the mole. He wants him to source for businessmen who will invest in North Korea.
So the main part really is raising business and investment.
In a debriefing filmed in Denmark back in 2013, the mole was already talking about KFA President Alejandro Cardenas wanting him to find investors.
Men umiddelbart så taler han faktisk uden at nævne nogen navn, så er det 3 interessante investeringsprojekter, der er i Nordkorea.
Hvilke?
Det siger han så ikke noget, men han søger bare noget kapitalstarten, der hedder fra 50.000 euro op til 1 million euro.
But investing in North Korea is tricky business because of the tough UN sanctions leveled against the cash-starved regime.
The new sanctions include a ban on exports of North Korean goods such as machinery and electrical equipment.
Since no one in their right mind would throw money at North Korea, I decided to invent a fake investor in order for the mole to find out what exactly Alejandro Cardenas had in mind. I forgot to mention there is another person involved in this. That person is Mr. James. His real name is Jim, and he was chosen by me to perform the role as Mr. James, a man of international mystery. In real life, Jim is a former member of the French Foreign Legion, who later went on to become a jet-set cocaine pusher in Copenhagen. In the end, he was caught and served 8 years in jail, and now works and lives as a legitimate businessman. In my mind, he was tailor-made for extreme role-playing. So I had the mole invite Alejandro to come to Oslo in Norway for a meeting with the man of his dreams, Mr. James, a dapper Scandinavian oil billionaire.
So how did you set it up?
At that moment, I knew James for 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I met him in the airport in the morning, and we wasn't even sitting together in the plane. The plan was that I should introduce Alejandro to James and James to Alejandro. So we...
And then just sit back and watch.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of investments into North Korea would President Alejandro Cardenas have on offer for Mr. James?
Good. Oh, I hope it goes good. You're used to it. I'm not. Oh, I'm nervous.
2 seconds.
Oh, hi there.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
I just have to take this.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Sorry for that.
Hi, James.
Okay. Pleasure to meet you, and
This is James.
thank you for coming.
Thanks to you for that.
This is Alejandro,
in Korea.
the president of KFA. And
I'm a special delegate of the government of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in charge of international
Thank you
relations.
very much. And I would have loved for giving you a card, but my suitcase is still in Kuala Lumpur, so I just have my hand baggage.
No
But by
problem.
mail, we will send it to you.
No problem. I'm in contact.
Sorry, just to interrupt, but what sort of cover story had you developed for
Well-
James? I mean, Alejandro presumably would have done some checking on the background of James.
I think he really just wants things to happen, and he was thinking about having something for the Koreans so he can reach an even higher level in North Korea.
So he didn't need to know the name of this oil billionaire?
No, I just told him actually his name was James.
I work for investment family. Until now, our investment have been in oil, gas, weapons, metal, pharmaceutical. But our minimum investment is 50 million euro.
50.
Yeah, 50. Because otherwise the revenue is not interesting.
I have contacts up to Marshal Kim Jong-un, so if necessary, I can report directly to the maximum authority to our great leader Kim Jong-un in the country. We are under very, very heavy sanctions, as you may know, from the United Nations, especially forced by the United States. So we have a parallel way to do things. We have companies in China, in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia, and other countries for making all kinds of transactions. So they follow sanctions in the United Nations in the front of the TV, but in reality, they just look the other way.
Did he discuss what types of business he would be looking for?
Yeah. And it didn't take many minutes before Alejandro started talking about that they can produce anything in North Korea, which he likes to call the DPR of Korea, or DPRK.
Our advantage, think about DPRK as the real only country in the world that we don't need to follow any rule from anyone. Whatever you do in DPRK remains in DPRK. Nobody ever can touch your accounts, your assets, even you are followed by Interpol. We are not even members of Interpol. So we can do things that no other country can do. We are developing things in pharmaceutical industry that are forbidden in any other country in the world. I have a pharmaceutical company in Canada that requested me that we produce something in DPRK. But this something, it's basically the same like methamphetamine. It's a methamphetamine for the drug market. So the issue is that they send me the formula or the knowledge, and then I checked with our capital, of course. We have all the knowledge to produce even that. Weapons actually is our main, but the problem is weapons in the moment that it's very, very complicated subject. But weapons, we can build submarines factory. We can build tank factories. We have, from the first screw of the tank to the last one is made in DPRK. Missiles, all made in DPRK. We sell our missiles to Iran. Iran doesn't have our technology. All the medium range, Iran only has medium range. We have intercontinental ballistic missiles that can reach any part of the world. So we have...
That one we definitely have to... I'm just taking notes.
I can facilitate you all kind of contacts directly with our state companies or any department or ministry in the country. This is no problem for me. Anytime I can issue the visas, I can prepare at all levels with all our ministers. So through me, you are right now in direct contact with the country.
Meeting with President Alejandro Kaude-Benos in Oslo gave a whole new perspective on the Korean Friendship Association, because officially the KFA is a peaceful organization which works to promote North Korean culture, history and values through its members in more than 30 different countries, including the official delegate for all of Scandinavia, the Mole. Was the KFA really being used as a front for dealing with weapons and drugs from North Korea, with Alejandro as the spider in the web? Or was Alejandro Caudebenas playing us in order to get to the deep pockets of Mr. James? And who was Alejandro really? Simply a buffoonish braggart acting as a useful idiot for the regime in Pyongyang? Or was he a highly connected and sophisticated international criminal? At last, the Mole had found his real mission and true purpose. Follow the lead of Alejandro Caudebenas and see where it takes us.
So what happened after this meeting?
When Alejandro came back to Spain, he was arrested of arms dealing.
Así ha reaccionado Alejandro Cao de Benós ante las preguntas de nuestra compañera a las puertas de los juzgados. Ayer fue detenido en Tarragona en una operación policial contra el tráfico de armas.
No respondo a 3 media.
¿Por algún motivo en especial?
Sí, porque son difamadores. Eso es falso. Falso totalmente. Son difamadores. Esto es falso, total.
For the first time ever, the brave soldiers of the KFA would have their annual meeting without their president. A perfect chance for the Mole to rise in the ranks.
I'd like to welcome you all to 2016's International KFA Conference. Over the years, our organizations have been viciously attacked by reactionaries. This year's worst attack is towards our president Alejandro. The Spanish fascist authorities are not letting him leave the country, restricting his movement of freedom, accusing him of a crime he had not committed. Maybe one day they will understand that we're right and that they are wrong, but until then, keep on with the good job, comrades. Thank you.
If it was not for Comrade Alejandro, I would not be standing here today. I commend him for constantly believing in me, supporting me, and guiding me. In the future, I foresee more people of the West, just like me, will realize that they live inside a broken and evil system. And so they will open their eyes and see what I see, a dream which can come true. Long live our Supreme General Kim Jong-un. Korea is one. Thank you very much.
Korea is one!
Hello?
Hello, Alejandro. It's Ulrich. Whatever I can do to help you in KFA, just let me know. I will be there.
Thank you. We always really count with you and trust all your work and your activities. So it's not only me, of course, my comrades in Pyongyang.
Yeah?
We don't have very close friends like you. Only a few that really, really
thank
close
you very
friends
much.
of the country.
I feel the same back. I love you all in KFA.
Next, the Mole and Mr. James went to Madrid in Spain to meet with Alejandro Caudebenas. Through me, Mr. James had an order ready for North Korean weapons as well as methamphetamine. Would the president of the Korean Friendship Association be open for business now that he was being investigated for arms trafficking?
Okay, I can see you. Oh, hello.
So Alejandro took James entirely on trust on your recommendation.
We need to put up a story. How I know James.
And what was that story?
I'm educated as a chef and been making food for some people where James went sending. And he just asked me if I can cook for him because he has a lot of parties, and so it's quite easy to get into that. Always busy. I haven't seen him in a long time, only, short telephone, email, and he don't reply email.
Hey, my friend.
Once again.
Alejandro.
Good to see you.
Very easy. I'm sorry.
Sit down. See.
I continuously follow by different secret services from different countries. So they retain my passport. The order of the judge is that I cannot leave Spanish territory because I had weapons. I had machine guns and I had guns at home. And I always liked all kind of weapons and practice.
Who doesn't?
So at this meeting in Madrid,
Yeah.
does James give any ideas about why he's interested in buying this sort of material?
Well, he likes to sell the weapons to the enemy of Israel, which make Alejandro quite happy.
Basically, it's the weapon we're very interested in. Hitting Israel is a way to say, fuck you, USA.
Yes.
We need to sit down with the right people straight away.
Yes, sure. Our army, they are used to sell finished technology to governments. So it's going to be complicated to negotiate the sale of whatever short or medium range missiles with a private person. But talking about chemistry and components that you need, that's more easy. Because kind of we are providing technology and we are providing you with experts that you rent, but we are not selling the finished.
Ah, okay. So, okay, that's fine for me.
Well, I can guarantee you that you will have the meetings with the right people and that it is possible to bring those scientists, let's call them, overseas. But of course, the terms of negotiation is something you have to arrange. But actually, you are being received by my closest comrade, and he knows what you are going to be discussing about. He knows him also, Oritongji, because he's Kang Hyung-yu. So Mr. Kang Hyung-yu, he will be waiting for you in the airport and arrange everything to talk with the right people.
From now on, we are on thin ice.
Yes.
We have to be very careful. Yes. But that said, there's a lot of money to be made.
At this point, he's stuck in Spain.
Yeah.
For legal reasons.
Yeah.
But he can organize your trip with James to North Korea.
We agreed to go to North Korea in January 2017.
Okay.
Going on a secret mission to North Korea calls for careful planning. So I had my first in-person meeting with the mole and Mr. James together, making sure that Mr. James especially knew the most important rules of the game. Lad os starte med det sådan helt banale, men det er vigtigt at have gaver med. Og noget af det allerbedste, man kan give nordkoreanere, er Hennessy-cognac. Jeg vil sige, tag mindst en flaske cognac med hver. Noget andet, som er vigtigt i Nordkorea, aldrig lave sjov med den store leder, den kære leder eller den unge general. Ingen af kimmerne må man lave sjov med. Man vil helt sikkert være i situationer, hvor man har lyst til at komme med en morsom bemærkning. Det skal man bare ikke. Don't go there.
Okay.
Noget tredje er, det er en meget militariseret kultur, og det er en meget alkoholiseret kultur. Der er næppe et land i verden, hvor de drikker så meget som i Nordkorea. Hvis man er dårlig til at drikke, mister selvkontrol, når man bliver fuld, skal man ikke tage til Nordkorea. Aldrig skjulte optagelser. Aldrig falde for fristelsen til at forsøge at lave noget i det skjulte. Jo mindre I fremprovokerer noget, jo bedre. Jo mere de kommer til jer, jo bedre.
Det er jo ikke mig, der skal købe noget. Det er dem, der skal
sælge noget.
Lige præcis.
Hi, Jim. I'm Annie.
Pleasure to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too. If we could keep the answers as brief as possible and as precise as possible, that would be appreciated.
Sure.
So, what was your perception of the possible risk at this point?
Yeah, I mean, as a former criminal, you don't calculate with risk that high. And I think I actually was more worried for Ulrich than for myself, because was involved or is involved in another way than I was. I was hired in as an actor.
I was also worried for the mole. Mr. James had been around the block. He could fend for himself. But what about the mole? He was just a retired chef. So I took him to see a teacher who could give him a crash course in what is known as tradecraft among spies. In short, I took him to see Max, a former CIA agent.
He makes a mistake, he could find himself tied up in the center of town with a blowtorch as an example for nobody else to do that. So.
But why trust a former CIA agent with the identity and secrets of the mole? It's a good question. Max had been fired from the Central Intelligence Agency and was not in good standing with the company anymore, which made it safer to trust him.
I'm gonna kill you.
Why?
Okay, yep.
Anyway, I was in need of someone who could teach the mole the ropes before he returned to North Korea.
If somebody's holding a gun on you, you're not gonna expect them to take it away, all right? All you're looking for is a split-second edge.
And besides, as the saying goes, who can you trust these days?
Observation skills. When I say what's common is common, and what ain't, ain't. That means if it's common, that's usual for the area, okay, that's normal. If something stands out, it stands out for a reason. So you gotta be aware of your surroundings. You might as well give them your phone and say, here, look at it, because that's how easy it is nowadays. You have to assume they can read all of your messages. So when they look at your emails accounts, and they can go way, 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 way back, they're gonna feel like you betrayed them. You didn't really believe in socialism or communism. You didn't really believe in North Korea as a place to go. You didn't really believe in it. That was all just, you were a mole. Be careful that they don't set a trap for you. So like when they walk out of the room and leave papers, don't touch them, don't go near them. Then they can say, oh, we knew he was gonna go through these. You don't care about those. Don't even think about messing with that. I tell you what, you are a hero of mine doing this. It's very dangerous. So this is the real deal.
Yeah.
Safe journey.
Thank
Safe
you,
travels.
Max.
Godspeed.
Thank you, bye.
Bye now.
Right in the middle of these anxieties, an American university student was arrested in North Korea.
Son was sentenced to hard labor for stealing a propaganda poster. The warm beers.
His crime was simply stealing a poster from his hotel in Pyongyang.
Another American front and center in Pyongyang's propaganda parade.
I entirely thank you, people and government of the DPR Korea, for your forgiveness. Please, have made the worst mistake of my life.
Otto Frederick Warmbier, a University of Virginia business major, making a dramatic, emotional confession.
Please, save this poor and innocent scapegoat. Think of my family.
Warmbier's parents issued a statement saying they will release
So can you tell me what happened when you got there?
We were landing in a brand new airport in Pyongyang. 3 steps out of the flight, we were put aside because I had the camera. This officer, he was like, because of the camera, he needs to call his a high-ranking officer to check that out.
When we landed there, 2 government officials came, took my suitcase off the table, We went all the way around, and they put me in the VIP lounge where the main man himself, when he travels, sits.
And then we've been waiting 5 minutes, and Kang said, "Do you have your medal on? Show him."
Is that?
That is Mr. Kang.
Okay.
And I was like taking off my jacket, and he was like, "Sorry, please, welcome to North Korea." And I just took all my equipment without any check and walked straight out for a waiting Mercedes-Benz to pick us up. The first evening, I had a great dinner with a lot of alcohol. I went up earlier than James to my room, and Kang then came up to my room and asked me, are you sure that this man has all the money that he's talking about?
So how did the deal progress once you were there?
Well, in the beginning, it was with sightseeing and looking at houses and business centers.
Kang, could you tell shortly where we're going?
Now we are going to visit Science and Technology Complex, which was inaugurated last year.
I must say, at this point, I didn't see anything close to everything I was promised.
So how long did this, should we call it a courtship period
Around
last?
2 days.
2
And
days.
then it's starting getting serious. Certainly, the third morning we got picked up. We were looking at each other like, okay, is this another sightseeing or what?
When we are in the car, he said, we're going to meet some people that can sort you out. All the time we've been in North Korea, we've been driving downtown. Now we're starting driving outside town. And then suddenly we take a left turn. And now it's not in a place where you want to show tourists.
And they drove us outside of Pyongyang into a slum area.
So the driver parked. This doesn't seem right, but I mean, nowhere to run, so I'm just like, okay, just focused.
And they want us to walk down in a basement. I'm walking down this stairs, and it was really creepy. But then a big door opened, and we came into this luxury conference room with a big table with a lot of food
And suddenly we are in a really, really nice restaurant.
Under a basement in a rotting house.
Yeah.
Were you frightened?
I try not to be.
Then we found out we were sitting together with the president from the arms factory.
Is this when this photograph was taken?
Yes, that's.
So can you tell me who is who?
This is the president of the arms factory.
Mm-hmm.
This one is the intelligence officer.
Mm-hmm.
His English was really good. His questions was definitely different of the other, and he kind of start interrogate me. And it's in that time I have to come up with the company name, because we didn't have a company name at that time.
Okay.
So he says, "What's your company name?" I said, "The one who's taking care of this is Target Group." I was like, "Please remember that name." Then there was one we refer to as Stoneface.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then they surprised us by taking up the catalog of their weapon systems. And I was like, okay.
They give me pictures and say, "This is what we can sort you out with."
Like a sort of menu?
Yeah.
Okay. And what sort of weapons are we talking about?
All kinds of weapons, missiles, really big missiles, tanks.
So this is all on offer?
Yeah, this is what we were just handed over at the table. And
wow. So we've got Scud missiles.
Yeah.
So you can get 5 Scud missiles for $14 million. Missile launchers.
Yeah.
So we're going up to Scud-E missiles now.
Yeah.
Good God, 25 million.
1,350 kilometers range.
Yeah.
That's practically enough for North Korea to Japan.
And that's high explosive warhead, and that's thermobaric. Yeah. Oof. I mean, that's as close as you can get to a nuke.
Yeah.
Without it being a nuke. What's this?
This is the agreement between James and Nerea.
The
also.
arms factory,
yeah.
Okay. All signed and sealed as well?
Yes.
And what was Ulrich doing during this meeting when you were signing contracts?
He was filming.
He was allowed to film?
See, this is the funny part, because Ulrich's position is so well that they just thought he filmed for propaganda videos.
Should I sign the Korean one as well?
Yes.
And where's that?
At this point, you're in a secret underground lair in North Korea, facilitating the signature of a weapons contract. What is going through your head at this stage?
Many things. First of all, I've been practically lying for my wife for 7 years. So I was thinking about that.
And Alejandro is aware of all of this?
He's aware of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I will soon go to Spain to visit Alejandro Donji and give him a detailed report about what we achieved here together with James.
Skål!
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 Good, thank you.
So we agreed on building a factory outside North Korea that would make weapons and methamphetamine. And as is custom for them, they suggest it will definitely be underground.
And did the Koreans have any preferences when it came to countries or suggestions?
The first destination that came up was Namibia, where they had friendly people in the government. That was taken off the table due to the sanctions. So the next country that was put on the table was Uganda.
So to sum it up, you are now a North Korean weapons dealer and broker.
Yes.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Monday night. And we begin with late developments today, the worsening horror for a mother and father from Ohio. Their son, who was just returned from North Korea with severe brain damage, has now died.
Since the moment their son was sentenced to hard labor for stealing a propaganda poster, the warm beers were fighting until he was released.
The look in his eyes, which I didn't know he was blind at the time, was absolute horror. Horror, like he'd seen the devil, and he had. He was with the devil.
Jamen, så starter vi vel med at sige velkommen tilbage.
Mange tak.
Tak.
Back in Copenhagen, I was shocked to discover what my two proxies had accomplished in Pyongyang. They had brought real raw intelligence with them. As the scholar Andrea Berger writes in her study, Target Markets, very little is known about pricing on North Korean weapon systems. But here was a fully detailed menu in hard copy. Mr. James being appointed as a North Korean arms broker seemed like the figment of a sick mind, but here also was a signed and sealed contract drawn up in English by the North Koreans. Before Mr. James came along, only a few non-Koreans had been known to broker weapons for the regime in Pyongyang. Back in 2011, the British arms dealer Michael Ranger was arrested for brokering a deal between Azerbaijan and North Korea, but he was a highly experienced arms dealer in a dangerous game for experts, let alone amateurs. Nevertheless, Mr. James and the Mole had scored a jackpot.
Og jeg er blevet forfremmet til, eller fået stilling. Jeg har fået titlen af Honorary Position of Business Agent for Narea Trading Corporation. Denne titel skal jeg så viderebringe til min kære ven Alejandro, for vi har jo aftalt i Korea, at jeg skal mødes med Alejandro og aflægge en rapport omkring besøget. Det hele er klar. Det er godt. Hvordan sidder kameraet her i brystet? Det sidder fint. Alejandro, how are you? Perfect.
Welcome to the bunker.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the bunker. Perfect. It's hot here. We have -21 in Pyongyang when we were there.
Oh, really?
To prepare the Mole for his next mission, Alejandro would now provide guidance on how to operate as a businessman in Uganda.
In Africa, nobody is going to take care of you.
No.
The life of James, your life, my life, is worth $50 US.
Okay.
That's what it costs to hire
a hitman.
And cut your throat. Literally cut your throat. And don't forget that they are quite strong because they work all the day under the sun, taking the bush and everything. So the Negro has that thing.
Okay.
In the moment that you don't look at them, they will steal you.
Okay.
Everything, even a drop of water. And they need always to have the person on top of them telling them what they have to do.
Okay.
If not, they just sleep or steal, or steal. If the white master is not there, they will feel like animals and start destroying, taking all.
Okay. So actually he needs to be really, really careful of who to bring in.
Yes, yes. Very careful, and if one person is going to appoint it, there has to be the person, frankly speaking, willing to die for.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the idea of
the idea is to make the methamphetamine and What weapons?
When talking about the business, do never use again that words, okay? I don't know, I think you should take care.
Suddenly he just stood up and said he wanted to show me something.
This is a bug detector. It will detect any kind of bugs that you may carry in your body or someone may have put to you. Okay. If you had a micro or something in you, you will make the signal, okay? Okay.
Ah, okay, perfect.
You were mic'd up.
I was mic'd up, yeah.
Try my phone. Ah, okay.
Here's a signal.
Stay with us, Storyville continues next.
You had a walk-in, a volunteer, who came to you 10 years ago saying that he could infiltrate a North Korean friendship group in Denmark. You said that wasn't really big enough for you to investigate, but you'd stay in contact, and if it became bigger, then you could revisit it. It did. I used to work for the British Security Service, otherwise known as MI5, so the film team has asked me in to debrief you.
He is a retired chef. He resides in the suburbs of Copenhagen, together with his family.
Do you happen to know if he's told his wife what he was doing?
I don't think so.
Og børnene er glade?
Ja, vi har lige været i tvivl.
Ja, det er godt.
And over those early years, your mole had progressed up the hierarchy of the North Korean Friendship Association till he was in a position of influence in Europe and you, the head guy in Europe.
He's the president of the Korean Friendship Association, KFA.
Do you think Alejandro is dangerous?
Yes, I do.
I have contacts up to our Marshal Kim Jong-un. I can prepare at all levels with all our ministers.
You brought in a fake businessman.
He is asked to play the part of Mr. James.
Our minimum investment is 50 million euro.
Weapons, we can build submarines factory. We can build tank factories.
Suddenly the North Koreans get very excited about the possibility of weapons trading or drug smuggling or whatever. And deals are cut, contracts are signed. So what I want to think about is, where does that leave us now?
So we agreed on building a factory outside North Korea that would make weapons and methamphetamine.
And did the Koreans have any preferences when it came to countries or suggestions?
Uganda.
I went to visit Alejandro in Tarragona, and I was mic'd up with the camera. And what we are doing now is big methamphetamine and what weapons.
The mole speaks about how they are going to produce methamphetamine and weapons, and then Alejandro Cartagena says,
when talking about the business, do never use again that words, okay? I don't know, I think you should take care.
And he comes back with such a bug detector.
This is a bug detector. It will detect any kind of the bugs that you may carry.
And I have a camera at my chest here, and I start to tell him there's something in the room.
Here's a signal.
I knew if something's gonna happen here, it's over.
You have something, RF, radio frequency?
I have the car key for rent a car. I have a small bag on the table, so I have a car key in. Maybe it's because it takes some signals down.
This is by remote control.
Okay.
So it was sending the signal to the...
Okay.
But this is, I sweep it many times. We don't have anything
please,
here. Because
please do that every time before we come.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So this is a necessary tool.
Yeah.
You are not talking a small thing. If this goes down, there are many millions going down.
Yeah.
So also James has to understand this is not a child game.
No, I said to him, listen.
To be serious. Because it's as easy as I do like this to you.
Yeah.
I can put a mic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can.
Hey, just hey, hello, welcome to Barcelona.
And then
you don't have no idea that you are broadcasting information.
It's good. We need that, especially. Especially the
good one.
The good ones, Russian ones.
This is just basic. Already. So that's all. No, we discussed all the issues.
Yeah.
What happened next?
I jump in the car and then I start to feel bad. I have a lot of pictures on my mind, and it's like I just need to have this off because it did something to me. It's like this was a close call.
So, just to be fully clear here, he was fully briefed on the plans to build this secret factory in Uganda.
Love the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Uganda, Mr. James would be the playmaker. And to have it all on camera, he brought a photographer who was filming for a corporate video about his life as a man of international mystery. And the mole, he brought his hidden camera.
Hvor sidder knappen på til optag?
De sidder på siden.
Der, yes. Ja. Yes, der er rødt. Vi ses.
So what happens next?
Then the North Korean arrives to Kampala.
Ah, you there? Oh, good to see you again. Morning. Nice to see you.
One of them, he was one of the people in the basement while I was signing.
Is that?
Yeah, that's the person we named Stoneface.
And who is he?
That's Mr. Danny, the international arms dealer from North Korea. Please come in. Oh, you can walk in. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Thank you. And I think that Mr. James will come shortly, so then we can talk a little ourselves. So.
Earlier this month, North Korea threatened to fire missiles towards the US territory of Guam. This provoked the US president into threats of war.
I read in the news that the DPRK had a successful missile test this morning. Yeah. I don't have any concerns, but I just think with this President Donald Trump, he's a crazy man.
What would he say?
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
We are continuing to the launch missile until the America and the hostile country stop to, provocate our country.
There he was.
Morning.
How are you?
Nice to see you. Good.
Yeah.
Hi. Great to see you.
2 seconds. Just close here.
The idea was to buy an island and build a weapon factory underground. So I've been looking at an island.
Yeah.
This island is perfect. It's in middle of Victoria Lake. So if airplane comes down, people on the mainland would not even see. Souvenir. We went there to check out the island.
How had you found the island in the first place?
Oh. Google. I found a place where you can buy private islands. And I could get it for $5 million.
This idea is very good idea. We construct the factory building, and then after that we must provide some equipment.
Yeah,
but equipment depends on the product. So you purchase from us. First we can do, for example, the missiles or the several kinds of missiles. Yeah? So you bring your own aircraft to our country by under the name of the humanitarian aid. Yeah?
Yes.
You can bring some, the clothing, some food, and then you can loading all the contractor item, and then you pay money for us, and then you fly back. We can provide you everything, from small ammunition to the big missile, as well as electro warfare item also. Radar, all the communication system, everything we can do.
So we wanted to go out and see if it could actually be used for the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And before we went there, the real estate man on it, he said that he had told the people on the island, because there lived people on the island, that we were there to build a hospital. So the whole village is there to welcome us. Ah, thank you.
We are waiting for someone. He's going to take us around.
Your sister? Brother?
What I was saying, to introduce you as a friendly party to the people on the island. Because we don't want them to know that it is a transaction that is going on between the landlord and us.
And this is why you told them that I was there to build a hospital?
Yes, hospital.
Okay,
Yes.
I see.
So I need your cooperation. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay, now let us pray. I bless these people in Jesus' name. We want to thank you for bringing us.
This guy, he'd say to me, I have told people on the island you're gonna build a hospital. I said, what? I don't look like a hospital guy.
My duty is to remove those people on the land without causing friction.
Okay.
Yes.
And how fast can we have them move?
Maximum is 4 months.
That is included in the price, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So this is where they play football. I think there could be a great landing field here.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, that is good. That is good. But now situation, now America, watch our country. American the intelligence agency, they should not know about this.
So the idea is, and this is their idea, to build a hotel above. some kind of resort, and that can explain why we have a landing ground there. Everything else will be built on underground.
Now I show you one on the other side, and then we are done. Then you have an idea of all the things. Yeah.
Did you get an impression that they had something out of the box? So they'd done this before, and they had a standard plan, a standard look for disguising these sort of facilities. They'd worked with other people like this.
Yeah. I mean, they already said that. We have the engineer, we have the knowledge. It was not a discussion about I should come up with those ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Because from the beginning, I'm an investor.
Mm-hmm.
I invested it. I think it's a good idea. But the architect about the whole structure with them.
Bye-bye.
I was feeling really bad when we left the island.
There live thousands on this island. Thousands and thousands they're willing to throw off the island in 4 months if I put down $5 million.
How can that be done? Was the government involved?
We had a sit-down established by the broker with government officials.
Mm-hmm.
I was quite open. I say, we want to do something on the island. I cannot tell you what it is, but we want 100% privacy. We don't want any interference, and I want that, otherwise we don't want to buy the island. If this fly, we can move very fast. We can get the people out of the island, and we can start doing this. So,
Sure.
how does that sound?
That sounds very interesting. I've been working with the government for the last 15 years. What is the project about? It's going to be a golf resort, a marina, it's going to be a health spa. We still want to give back to society. We have CSR obligations.
Then we buy some schools or something like that.
Okay.
We want clearance that we can land planes and take them off from our island.
That the aerodrome license can be, as long as it's part of the investment plan. This bird will fly.
That's sweet music to our ears.
Yes, that's exactly. That's what I do.
Give me an amen.
Amen, brother.
We was really crazy as well. We actually got promised that they could actually had custom protect our island.
Just can we pray together? Heavenly Father, bless our project, bless our ideas. Amen.
Amen.
That's very.
Thank you.
So although the true purpose of the project was not revealed to the Africans, buying the island in Uganda and using it for a secret weapons and drug factory seemed to be right up the alley of the North Koreans, which was kind of important to prove. But it did not stop there, because while in Uganda, the North Korean arms dealer, Mr. Denny, was ready to take the joint venture a step further.
We can meet in the lobby. When will you be there? Okay, I look forward to see you. Take care. Bye-bye. You said you had some things you needed to move as well.
Yeah. So, for example, all items to the Middle East country. The destination is Syria.
Syria. What kind of items they want there?
Projectile, bomb, something like that.
Okay.
If you can do, you have the capability to transport all items from our countries to the area. And you give the signal, and then I'll go to Beijing. We can discuss more detail.
North Koreans needing to move armaments to Syria is actually a very interesting piece of information, so please allow me to digress a little bit. Historically, North Korea and Syria have been friends for many years, and the North Koreans were even building a nuclear reactor in the Syrian desert until the Israelis decided to blow it up. During the civil war in Syria, the New York Times published a story about how North Korea was helping the Syrian regime with its chemical weapons program. At the same time, small arms from North Korea have been found in the hands of fighters from the Islamic State, but most likely these weapons were stolen from the Syrian army. So, when the North Korean arms dealer, Mr. Danny, wants to send bombs and projectiles to Syria, the end user is probably the Syrian regime.
So what did you say to Danny when he suggested that you help with the Syria war?
I said yes, I would like to do that. And then he said that then you have to go to Beijing.
Something I still feel bad about is sending Mr. James to Beijing to meet with North Korean arms dealers. People who are in the know about the dark side advised us strongly against it. Because if the Chinese intelligence service would shine their lights on Mr. James, it would be another ball game entirely. But Mr. James is a man who craves action, and I am a filmmaker who craves sensation, so he went anyway.
Before I'm going to Beijing, I've been in contact with Mr. Danny, who said he had passed it on to his collaboration partner, and he will take it forward. Sit down, and as custom, I brought you something from Denmark.
Wow.
One for you and one for you.
That's very kind.
The first day, there's only two gentlemen arriving, and one of them introduced himself to be the main guy of the weapon industry.
Both men are North Korean. I know this because sometimes they speak Korean to each other in the dialect of the North.
좋지만 수술 땀박혔기 때문에 요가 오늘 다 준비가 되어 있기 때문에
그래서 그러면 우간다의 그 25명 노동자가 이를 들여보내도 무슨 준비가 되어 있다고 한다고 얘기합니다.
Clearly, the two men are in the know about the island in Uganda, which seems to be a top priority.
아니 땅을 줬다가 지금 공정지에서 내 말이 또 우리가 무슨 자는 정치를 돈
But can they trust Mr. James?
I don't know if Danny has already talked to you about the business we are doing.
Your weapon, huh?
Weapons, okay.
Yeah. He said to me, we have a collaboration with Syria, but our problem is to give them the armory. Do you think you can help us? Is that correct?
Yeah, Syria.
You have contacts in Syria. Yeah. If you give me a list of the people that you officially not can contact, then I can contact them because I can travel here and there on behalf of you.
The man smoking here? No? Outside?
I don't know.
Okay. I go to the toilet. Which one is the toilet?
The toilet is out there.
And
No, it's in there.
Okay.
Asking for names of clients and contacts in the world of arms dealing seems to be a showstopper.
우리가 가지고 있는 서점들은 어디로?
지금 정합니다. 그래서 얼마 때 지금 복도 있는 사람이랑 아는
And actually, I was kind of sad when I was in North Korea. It was in January, so it was very.
North Korea.
Yeah.
You've never been to our country?
Yes, I have.
When?
In January. I was
This
away.
year?
Yeah.
Who invited you?
Kang.
Mr. Khan.
Yeah. The second day we're meeting, then suddenly the one referred to as Stoneface appears.
And what was the power dynamic between these two?
Yeah, and see, this is the whole strange thing, because the hierarchy is very difficult. Good to see you again.
Was the enigmatic Stoneface summoned to Beijing in order to verify the identity of Mr. James? He never says a word, he does not even smile, so we can never know for sure about Stoneface. But it is safe to say that his appearance made a difference.
We should check everything very carefully, very carefully. Even these walls have ears and eyes, you know.
Yeah. We are looking for the right person who's handling. It means for transportation. For example, this one, rifle, gun, air-to-air missiles. At this moment, we are sent to the country and they are waiting for standby this one. Are you confirmed you buy the island within 3 months? Are you confirmed?
What I will do is that I will fly down there personally and stay down there until it's bought. The only reason why I went to Uganda in the first place was because you told me to.
Head of Uganda lawyer, my close partner. So if you need, I'll help you.
Okay.
Please consider their ways of life and their ways of the working style is quite different, you and us. Today yes, drinking yes, tomorrow forgot. Please consider it. I expect the meeting.
So when did they contact you again?
It actually went a long time. Over a year.
My actor, Mr. James, seemed to be taking on a life of his own. That was a concern. Another concern was the mole going back to Spain to brief Alejandro Cao de Pinos about the tourist project, the codename chosen for the underground weapons and drugs factory in Uganda. By now, the mole had been undercover for more than 7 years, and paranoia was running high. So far, no intelligence service had caught on to us, but every time we met with Alejandro Cao de Pinos, we had to consider the possibility that he was being followed by spooks. At the same time, we also had to consider the risk that Alejandro would upgrade his counter-surveillance with new devices for discovering microphones. From now on, the mole would only meet with Alejandro in a hotel chosen by us, with security on standby next door in case his cover was blown.
Yes, and I have a small TV.
Soon Alejandro would spring another surprise on the mole, but first a piece of nostalgia. You see, going to North Korea with Alejandro as my tour guide back in 2006 left a long-lasting impression on me. Apparently, I had also left a long-lasting impression on Alejandro Cao de Pinos, and so had my first documentary about North Korea, The Red Chapel. The film stars 2 Danish-Korean comedians who go to Pyongyang and lampoon the leadership, which means that I am not Mr. Popular in North Korea anymore. It's poetry about the independence of the cat. A little pussy cat.
A little pussy. Pussy, that what
Yes,
does it mean?
a cat.
Pussy, or with...
No, a cat. In English you can say pussy cat or cat. It's you know, a cat.
Pussy.
Meow.
Meow, pussy,
Yes.
what does it mean?
Max Brugger, I still have the passport, you know, Brugger and the other fucker.
Yeah.
First trip, it's by me, they come to me.
They were there more than one?
Yes, they have been 3 times before making Red Chapel to North Korea. Suddenly, I received a call from Pyongyang. Alejandro, you know what happened in the Red Chapel? I know nothing, I was not in the meetings. I only brought them in the first trip. I don't even know that they come second time, third time. I said, you know what, you deserve that. I said to them, for not telling me. They took advantage of you, they cheat you, they fuck you, and now they're making a fortune thanks to you.
And then if you were rented, you could have stopped it.
Of course, I know sarcasm. I know how they think. In the moment that they said, pussycat. I will say to him, I will smash the face of Brugger and put him in the mine. And he will smash his face in North Korea because he cannot prosecute me because it's under the laws of the country. So I will do that. What the fuck? Anyway, there's nothing.
Sarcasm aside, Alejandro Cardenas is a man who thinks big. During the meeting in Barcelona, Alejandro tells the mole of an ambitious plan for a triangle deal involving Mr. James, North Korea, and a Jordanian businessman.
This is Hisham al-Dasuki from Jordan, who wants to provide fuel to North Korea. And Alejandro gets this wise idea that we can make a triangle deal. Which is that we send the fuel to North Korea and James get the payment in the arms part and pharmaceutical parts to the island in Uganda.
The general idea is that
So you make
we can triangle.
Exactly. And no one will ever know where. Okay, now I get it.
I understand, no?
If the mole could get Mr. James to Spain, Alejandro will introduce him to his plans for triangular trading.
So we set up the meeting in a yacht in the harbor of Barcelona. Hello, my friend.
Long time no see.
I must say that.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Oh, be careful. Good to see you.
Very young, younger and younger.
I'm trying my best.
Normally I don't drink, but today I would like a... Can you make me one of these?
Yeah, sure. Bloody Mary is good. So let's start first by the triangle.
Yeah, so the concept is very easy. When we were looking for oil due to the sanctions, I received the order from Pyongyang, from our government, to look for different sources. Someone willing to sell oil to us that doesn't mind sanctions. So this is a deal that our company, Narae, wanted to do with Mr. Dasuki. Mr. Kang told me, look, we are also doing the business at the same time with Mr. James. So why don't we make a triangle? Instead of you paying to our country, which is a little complicated because, as you know, the sanctions and so on, and the nature of the business especially. So instead of going direct, why don't James pay, like you are buying the oil, let's say, you are buying this oil, not the DPRK, although we are the one receiving, and then from this amount, then can be deducted from the contract and for the operations that you are going to realize in the tourist business.
So we will receive the weapons, and then we give him money, and then he gives oil. Exactly. And he don't have a problem with selling oil to NK?
Not at all.
So he knows how to get the oil there without getting the boat stuck?
Exactly, yes.
So it's kind of pirate?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
What is your position in all this?
I'm the person that makes the things work. Let's say like that, okay? Like a person that is arranging everything at international level. Okay, matchmaker, we could say, us. We could say that normally most things comes through me. I'm in the middle of many of the most important transactions of our country. And I hold positions which I cannot tell you in our country, but a very high level in the ministries, okay? It's a ministry that is over all the ministries.
So an agreement like this you can sign on their behalf?
Sure, exactly.
And guarantee my security?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's see. They just think I will hand over money. And I'm like, I'm not handing over any money. I have met you, I have trust in you, but I want to meet this Mr. Dasuki face to face.
So my two proxies, the Mole and Mr. James, went to Jordan to find out if there really is a man named Al-Dasuki who wants to triangle with them and North Korea.
Have a nice day. Mr. Dasuki. How are you? Finally, nice to meet you. Please come and visit Mr. James. And Alejandro sent me the best of his greetings to you.
Yesterday he sent me a mail.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I spoke with him yesterday also. Yeah. So I'm happy that we're finally here now.
Alejandro, really? This man, I like him so much.
That's good. He's my number one comrade. I love him too. He's
Tell me so many things about you. I like you so much.
Thank you so much. He's very how to say, passionate.
Yeah, he's a fighter.
Please. Hello, James.
Oh,
I met a nice man in the reception.
Suddenly it happens. Hello. Welcome. Take a seat.
Thanks. Nice to see you.
Salute. And just for me to understand the kind of business. Yes.
My business now, I am do for two things. For petrochemical and for petroleum, for oil. I make some relation with some friends, government. Good business, good idea, trust, that's all what you need. If you have a lot of money, all the doors open to you.
So for your share, you pay off the government, so we are safe in this.
Not your business, it's my business, it's my
Okay,
side.
okay.
No, not your names, not any names. Not my name also, I tell you, I be friendly with you, not my name.
No, of course.
Because I must keep my name clean.
You have a middleman who takes the blame for this problem.
Yes, this is what I do.
Because get a thing to North Korea right now is a bit tricky.
Yeah.
You have satellite up your ass all the way.
Each time I spoke to Korea, and he come back, again we change the name of the ship. You get again a new name to the ship because you can, because one time they're going there after writing the blacklist. What's the thing to do? When you import or export, don't make me your shipping direct. Must there is point, stop, change document, and then go. I tell him, if you need, I can do that. You can do it, fine. Something dangerous, very dangerers. As machine, as anything. I can do this. I know how to do.
No,
I mean,
I
guess that's the food.
Hello? Please come in. I'll just go to the bathroom.
Yeah, sure.
It's out here, right? Yeah. And we decided to meet up the next day for signing the contracts. Nice to see you again, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is no business. This is a Russian visa for me. This is for taking to the oil.
Ah, okay.
Brought from Russia to Jordan, then I sent it to Dubai, and from Dubai sent it.
So when you go from Vladivostok, you go out international, and you go back to Nampo or something with another vessel, or just change the name?
Also, have to be reasonable. Sometimes I can go to that port, main port, where you like. Sometimes that train cannot go. You must change it in the international order.
Yeah.
If you are not in a hurry, take 30, 40 days, because it takes long way to go from.
Yeah, they need to,
place.
exactly.
That's kind of them.
Yeah.
To be far away from the component that supply of some kind of governmental pressure. Give you contract, how much can sell per year? 10,000, 10 million, gives you, anybody can sell anywhere. It's up to you. They are money.
Yeah.
That's what.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
It's like mafia.
Okay, we are the mafia.
You
You and me and
we are same.
we are the same, yeah. Finally, I also need a picture with Mr. Dasuki for Alejandro. Yeah.
So was the contract actually signed?
They signed the contract.
For how much?
I think at that point it was around 3.2 million US dollar.
Can you?
We'll do it soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not to be rude, but could I have 5 minutes alone?
Yeah. Sure. I just take a sip and I walk out.
You like it?
Ah, yeah, I bring my coffee. I come back in 5 minutes. Yeah.
So Ulrich leaves the room, but I'm still recording the conversation.
And you can ensure that the government would not interfere.
Okay.
Here, Al-Dasuki mentions a major Jordanian power broker, but due to legal reasons, his name cannot be disclosed. Next, the mole was asked to go to Sweden because a package was waiting for him to be picked up at the North Korean embassy in Stockholm.
Hello, Ray. I'm here. How are you?
I'm fine.
The sun is so beautiful today.
Yeah,
So Kang wrote me.
he sent this photos.
Ah.
Just check, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I went to the embassy in Stockholm to pick up some drawings. What you see here is actually a North Korean design of how we can build our weapon/pharmaceutical factory in Uganda.
Ah, okay.
It looks great. Outside it looks resort, yeah.
Exactly,
hotel,
and
tourism.
that's why we need to
But
make it.
inside it looks so smart, you know.
Yeah.
It's like from movie.
Yeah. You might saw a movie. This is actually how it will look from above.
Golf course here.
It could be. Yeah, we could do.
That's great.
Yeah.
What about the hotel title? What are you going to title? What title are you?
I know that they're gonna have some meetings with the investor about all those details now. First,
Not something smells typically.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
I hope it will be successful. Yeah.
I hope to.
Just accept the confidential.
Confidential, of course. Yeah. So
If something happens, our embassy does know nothing about it.
exactly.
Thank you for the ride. Hello. This is one of the staff of Mr. James. He will lead us to the room.
Yeah.
Then, in this tale of intrigue and deception, a new character made his appearance. It was Mr. Ju, a North Korean envoy who came to Copenhagen to do business with Mr. James. Last time the world met Mr. Ju was in the Australian version of 60 Minutes, where he acts as a smiling mouthpiece for the regime in Pyongyang.
We were weak, but now we are strong. Single-hearted unity, great leadership, and we have the ICBMs. So I usually say to Donald Trump, come to me. I will choke you with my H-bombs.
Wow.
I planned my trip to Denmark in order to expand the tourism market into Scandinavian countries.
And what is your connections to our collaboration partners?
I have a close friendship with Mr. Kang for many years. Mr. Kang asked me to become a representative of the Norway Trade Company to sign the contract. So I have a document here. And also, he wants me to work, if necessary, or as the communicator for this tourism project.
In Uganda.
In Uganda?
Yes.
The contract stipulates the triangle deal in print. Oil purchased by Mr. James goes to North Korea, and in return North Korea sends products and technicians to the island in Uganda where tourist goods will be made.
And here you go.
Thank you.
And you have my pen.
Danish tradition.
Danish tradition, or actually you have the hotel's pen, but...
And did Alejandro know about this deal as well?
He was well aware of it.
Yeah.
Well aware of it.
Skål! 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 Just do one time. Oh, exactly. Let's try this one.
Now, the North Koreans would discover that Denmark also is a very alcoholized country.
And skål.
All in one. Skål.
Look at him. No. You have to take it. Kimchi!
So we visited the Little Mermaid, but they were so drunk that I don't think they even remember.
Had Mr. James chosen to honor the contract he signed in Copenhagen, he would have to wire millions of dollars to Al Dasuki in Jordan as payment for oil to North Korea. In return, North Korea would deliver manpower and products to the island of Mr. James. And so goes the triangle trade.
You can triangle. Exactly.
From his office in Jordan, Al Dasuki was now threatening legal action unless Mr. James honored their contract and showed him the money. Meanwhile, the North Korean weapons dealer Mr. Danny, who we met in Uganda, was pushing for a meeting with Mr. James in order to speed up the business. They met in a hotel in Cambodia, where Mr. James was taken to the next level in the circle of trust.
He gave me a new order list while I was down there.
So, may I explain? One by one, yeah? About the special items business, yeah? That is not common thing, yeah?
Okay.
The number one.
Yeah.
Is to protect the enemy tank. And then number 11, then attack the drone. Send the impulse, very powerful impulse to the drone, and then drone will be drone like that.
In Cambodia, it became apparent that the sanctions are working. The North Koreans are desperate to find clients who will buy their weapons. And it seems like Mr. James is their big white hope.
Now Syria, the IS already defeated. So in this situation, for us it's very difficult to find the clearance who want to buy some the military armament. If we have any clearance, we can supply them through you.
If I'm saying, okay, listen guys, we want to buy a huge amount of weapons, we can get that.
And what about the triangulation deal? Where's that left at the moment?
We have the island.
Yeah.
We could start that project tomorrow.
So this is where you've left it?
Yeah.
They still trust you?
Yeah.
For now?
For now.
But not for long. The investigation had gone as far as it could, so Mr. James had to disappear. Thanks to my intervention, Mr. James went off the grid and simply vanished, no longer answering his phone nor his emails. In short, Mr. James became a ghost. Meanwhile, the mole was taking care of business as the KFA delegate of Scandinavia. First, he went to London to protest against the BBC, together with his comrade in arms, the British delegate of the Korean Friendship Association, Mr. Dermot Hodgson.
Hello, everybody. This is Ulrich and Dermot. We are at the BBC, which is the British Brainwashing Corporation.
BBC. The BBC are continuing their lies about people's career.
Then, the mole went to Spain for his last in-person meeting with his president, Alejandro Cao de Pinos.
Oh, thank you very much. You insist, I insist. Okay.
Several items were on the agenda.
Dermot is British, and I have been in his home. So frankly speaking,
They
British
like
tend to
this.
be quite dirty.
Yeah.
They love dirty, moldy, rusty things. It's like they love it.
Old carpets on the floor.
Or not all carpet, but he entered with the boots full of mud. Mud in the house, you know? It's so different.
But most important was the sudden disappearance of Mr. James.
It's difficult to trust people you don't know.
Of course.
And even people you know, like James.
Yes. Yes, no, that really make us lose a lot of money, a lot of time. To you, to me, to Korea.
I feel myself like a big idiot.
I mean,
am I the right guy in KFA now? Because I feel myself responsible for it.
No, because we know exactly who you are. And we know who is him. I have to have some meetings always with this kind of rich men. I'm used to this kind of exception, people like Mr. Dasuki, who is a very rich man, very powerful, very influential, but very humble person. James is an opportunistic person who just wants to get whatever and push out everyone without recognizing the work. You have been loyal, even as a servant, more than loyal. Frankly speaking, I didn't tell to you, but your way of treating him and the way he was treating you, it was from servant to the Lord. Put me a Bloody Mary, what do you want, Alejandro? Then servant, Mr. Ulrich, of course you are my comrade. I felt so bad, you know, when seeing you, but we are playing a game, so I have to accept that.
I was also playing my games for him, for making.
I know that
he wants us and he wants.
I know that we are playing. We are playing the games. You know that you must have people that you can fully trust, because if only one goes to the CIA, only one, you are fucked forever.
To top it off, the mole had been chosen as the host of the annual KFA meeting. It was I who wrote the speeches for the mole, and now he would deliver his final sermon.
Dear comrade, the KFA is at war, and we have every right to wage war against our enemies, because one person can change the outcome of history. But what about me, you might ask? What have you been doing as a KFA delegate for Scandinavia? I will here present you the tourist project. Well, here it is. Mana, can you take this one down, please? And just put it on the floor.
As I had planned it, the mole would share the fruits of the top-secret work he had been doing with his mentor, Alejandro.
Beautiful hotel with swimming pools and hotel rooms, meeting areas, golf course.
Of course, the mole would only use the coded phrases for methamphetamine and weapons, which Alejandro had taught him in the bunker in Spain.
When referring to something that you eat, it's a seafood, canned seafood. And when you are talking about the other thing, you can talking about, for example, let's talk about wood.
Wood.
Handicraft.
Wood handicraft,
Made by hand, by the native people.
In those rooms here, it will be possible to produce organic seafood or woodland handicraft. There's built a road up here, which will go up to an airstrip, so we can fly out our products to sell in the world. You're welcome to come up and take pictures if you like. Okay? Thank you. And sorry
Following the annual KFA meeting, one member of the Korean Friendship Association praised the tourist project on the message board of the KFA. Alejandro Caudebenas told the mole to delete everything at once. Also, a member named Jean-Paul left the KFA because he panicked about spying and hacking. At the end of this, I hired the former intelligence officer Annie Machon. Before she went rogue and became a whistleblower, she was working for the British security service, the MI5. Her exploits as a whistleblower has made her controversial, but that is of no concern to me. I am only interested in her qualifications as a spy. Running long-time undercover agents was her line of work, as was debriefing agents at the end of their missions.
If someone has put 10 years of their life into doing something, and they've been very solitary in what they're doing, they do need a chance just to tell someone exactly what they went through. It's almost like a confessional. And of course, you do want to reward them at the end of it, even if it's just with a recognition they can't really tell anyone about, apart from perhaps their wife or their husband. But it is that recognition that's very important when they've been working undercover for so long.
Such as a lavish dinner?
A lavish dinner usually works very well, yes. And I want to raise a toast to you both for what you have achieved. I think it's probably the most impressive private intelligence operation I've ever heard of. How are you going to protect these two guys from any reprisals from the North Koreans?
Regarding Mr. James, he simply refuses to be, protected or advised about security.
Okay.
We have prepared for an aftercare program for the mole, also taking care of his security.
Mm-hmm. And his family?
And his family as well. What I am more concerned about regarding the mole is that being the mole has been a part of his identity for more than 10 years. So what will happen when we bring him in?
Entering any form of secret type world is very seductive, I know from personal experience. And for those who have been living a double life, with all the danger and the adrenaline rush and everything, it is incredibly difficult often to go back to mundane reality.
In the long run, we all must face reality. So finally, I went to the suburbs of Copenhagen to see where the mole lives and meet with him and his wife. Jamen, Ulrik har noget, han gerne vil fortælle til dig.
Ja. En rigtig lang historie.
It is a long story, but let's cut to the ending.
Så et eller andet sted, så er jeg lidt stolt af mig selv. Og håber, du på en eller anden måde er lidt imponeret over det, jeg har prøvet at opnå, og det, jeg har prøvet at dokumentere for omverdenen.
Jeg er bare rystet. Og jeg synes jo et eller andet sted, at du er en idiot, fordi du ikke har fortalt mig noget.
Mm. Ja.
Det er løgn på løgn. Jeg synes fandme, det her er svært.
Der er noget, jeg gerne vil sige til Ulriks forsvar. Det er vigtigt at få med. Og det er, at Ulrik er et af de modigste mennesker, jeg nogensinde har mødt.
Sådan i hverdagen, så ser man ham jo ikke som modig, eller så tænker man jo bare, kan du lige komme i gang med rengøringen? Men han har jo trukket så meget for familien, ikke? Mere og mere og mere og mere, ikke? Altså, han forsvinder. Og nu er der gået 11 år. Jeg ved ikke, om det...
Ja. Men det har været vanvittigt. Det har det jo nok. Det har været vanvittigt for mig. Også ikke at kunne fortælle dig. Det er også tit tænkt på, hvad tænker du, ikke?
Jeg har ikke tænkt så meget.
Nej.
Men jeg tænker mere, hvad der kommer til at ske nu, når det hele når vejens ende. Og hvad det har af konsekvenser for os som familie.
Du skal sidde derude.
Ja.
Jeg sidder herovre.
Yes.
The only thing left was an even more difficult conversation.
Mit hjerte banker. Er du sindssyg? Og den der.
Hello?
Hello, Alejandro. I can't see you.
Oh, start video. Okay. Hello?
How are you?
Yes, fine. And you?
Well, I'm fine. So that's nice.
Alejandro, before we get started, I have a few things I want to tell you.
Yes.
First of all, why I've been so interested in North Korea. And also to find out the truth about you. All our meetings together has actually been filmed. And I've been acting like a mole because I'm making a film with you. And I would really much like you to meet the instructor who's been helping me through this movie. So I hope you will answer his questions. So please meet him here.
Hello, Alejandro.
Yeah. Yes, hello.
We meet again.
Yeah.
We are recording this conversation, and I should inform you that everything is on tape, and we basically know everything. So this is the end of a very long story. Alejandro, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Hej.
Han har afbrudt.
Han har afbrudt?
Han satte hånden over, kunne jeg se, og fumlede på en stopknap. Da han gik på skærmen, der var jeg næsten klar til at løbe på toilettet. Men da jeg fik åbnet munden, der var jeg ligesom bare tilbage i, hvis man kan sige, i muldvarperollen. Men ja.
Vil du gerne være muldvarpe igen?
Ikke på samme måde. Mm. Eller, man skal aldrig sige aldrig.
Ulan.
Det er godt. Puha. Og jeg, så kan vi se det igen?
For more world-class documentaries from Storyville, go to BBC iPlayer. Next, the film Moonlight made history when it famously didn't win and then did win the Best Picture at the Oscars. Its director, Barry Jenkins, profiled next on BBC4, Inside Cinema.